somebody, hell, my country going to hell in a handbasket. And it looks like if somebody tells somebody that this country could be run by propaganda alone, hell, somebody help. I wasn't going to say nothing, cause I know what some of all you're gonna say. But I can't stand by any longer and watch the country go in this way. The affairs of the state in chaos, causing citizens too much pain.
Let the music run, Bones.
Friends and whatever comes next, I ain't staying quiet again. No, this land is yours, but it's mine also. And the future lies in our hands. I want you to know that is government that we put in charge. Incompetence is creating problem. Don't hesitate.
Done with them.
No time to wait.
Done with them.
They must understand that this is the people's land. Yes, they must understand the power of any land resides in people's hands.
Come in clean. Come in clean. Dump your toe. Hey, good night. Good night to the members of the Blue Nation, to the constituents of St. John's Rural East, to my good people in St. George, good evening, to the supporters of the Team to Redeem, and to the patriotic citizens in the diaspora, and to the Labour Party people who tuned in. They tune in, they will pay attention. Yeah, well, pay attention, because you will learn how much better things can be under the UPP. Now, as the only candidate to have ever been to Clare Hall School, let me say welcome to home. Everywhere we live, welcome home. It's nice to have you here. It's good to be here, talking with you again. And tonight, we're going to be discussing figures. Since we're coming off that fresh hocus pocus, hanky panky choppiness they had today, they call budget. A recurring decimal. Now I know plenty people, you like to pay attention only at election time. And you go and you vote, and you back off and loud everyone in the country for 5 years and you don't pay attention. But you can't do that. With the Gaston Board administration, you have to keep an eye on them. So tonight, I'm going to keep an eye on them. You're watching close. I am here to tell you tonight that you can't allow them to do as they feel like. You are responsible for them, not the other way around. Okay? So as a matter of fact, we are going to look at some figures tonight. Since transparency, as they love to say, transparency, this government, they would not allow the IMF to publish the Article 4 report. That will tell us how the country really run. But I don't really need that, you know, because we live here. And we know what we are going through. We know what we are suffering. We know what we are feeling and what we are not feeling. So them can fool you all and want with this amount of percentage, this and that, and GDP, blah, 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 nonsense. And you know you can't pay bills. You can't eat 3 square meals, because no money there. They think I'll chup it. Right, there you go. Look, we're not going to allow them to tell us anything, eh? We are going to follow it ourselves. So let me put on some figures to you right now. And feel free to make notes. Make notes, and when you go home, get your kang later and calculate it. Get your pen and your paper ready. As far as we can record, the Gaston Board administration so far, they went and they borrowed $175 million. Yes, from ACB, they say, to fix internet and this and that and blah, blah, blah. Then they went and they borrowed $100 million from the Exim Bank. They claim for port development. From the Caribbean Development Bank, they went and they borrowed $48 million, supposedly to do roads. Then they went back to the same Caribbean Development Bank and they borrowed $130 million, supposedly to save Abbott. They went back to the CDB again. May I go too fast? Make your notes. Me have time. $20 million, they say, they borrow again from the CDB. This time, it was to do secondary school. Then they went back again and borrowed $66 million again to the road. And they drive in Antigua every day. Where the road day? Where the money day? They went back to CDB again one more time. And they borrowed $25 million. Let me give the breakdown. $2 million, they say, was for UE. $1 million for national housing. $10 million for social security. $12 million left back and nobody know where that gone. $12 million left back and nobody know where that gone. Pay attention. They went and they borrowed $40 million from Venezuela, supposedly for Liat. Wagwan with Liat. Oh. They went and they did a consolidation loan from Antigua Commercial Bank. So now do the subtotal and then add another $32 million that they borrowed in secret from PLH, supposedly to complete the airport in Barbuda. Gaston Brown, Lennox Weston, Max Hurst, all of them, they ran the UPP out of office for borrowing $100 million from the IMF. You remember that? $100 million from the IMF. And they ran the UPP out of office. But when the UPP borrowed that money, what was going on? They borrowed it during the worst financial crisis in my lifetime, and me not young. Yeah? You saw what they did with it. They kept civil servants employed. They paid local vendors. They showed up Social Security. Now, according to my records, the alternate said that in 3 years, this Brown administration done borrow 3 times as much. And nobody did unto them. They ran you out of office for $100 million. So far, Gaston Brown done borrow $1 billion with a B. Wickedness. Wickedness. Can you believe it? $1 billion. Hey, the clock, man, the clock work too fast, you know. So, that money wasn't spent on the roof at Mount St. John's. You saw the video. That money wasn't spent on the hospital at Nugent Avenue. That money wasn't spent to refurbish the Bowlands, Johnson Point, and Pierce Village Clinic. It wasn't to pay outstanding back pay. You see the people, I'm going to pick it up to today. The COVID allowance, you don't see none of that. Pensioners can't get paid. The nurses at fines and so them are crying for their money. So where all that money go? It certainly was not spent on technology or science program in the Ministry of Education. I don't know how they spend the money there. It was not to bring relief to the people of Antigua and Barbuda. Well, you say so, not me. For sure, it was not spent to pay the overdue, the money that was owed to the United Nations. And all those students who are overseas in school that get locked out because the government not pay them bills. And upon the heart of that, this financial wizard, this genius, have the nerve to come and tell the people of Antigua, he going back to borrow another $500 million. Eh? For do what? Where that money gone? Where that money gone? Well, let me tell you people, you have a choice to make on election day. You can continue with this party that borrowing us out of debt, as they say, have us down in a hole and digging deeper. Or you can choose the team to redeem and the captain who did it before and can do it again. Captain Harold Lovell, he steered us when the world was hitting economic bottom. He did it before. He can do it again. Who do you want to see? The dog or the captain? Well, the UPP is the right choice. Thank you until I come again.
Somebody tell somebody that this country could be run by propaganda alone.
The United Progressive Party. The right choice.